Welcome to On Couch.
With Kelly and Clint Harp.
I really leaned into the camera on that one. Like,
Welcome. We did that at the same time.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How
Woohoo.
are you?
I'm good. This is like kids are back at school.
I know. We're like renewed energy. Back with renewed energy.
Oh man, I hope that everybody else is feeling that way.
Oh, I know. I was thinking all of our East Coast friends, I don't think y'all go back until like after Labor Day. So you're probably like, what are you talking about? The summer's
goodness.
over.
Oh wow, okay.
We're like,
yeah.
we get them in early, guys. We get them in early.
Let's go. Love having them home, but you know, by the end of the summer, it's like, whew.
Wheels are off.
Okay, so before we get into our little 3-minute kind of intro. We said it at the same time. Aren't we good? We first of all want to say thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to rate and review and subscribe. Add us to your podcast playlist. The whole thing. You can obviously, if you're watching this, you're already on YouTube, but you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all the different blah, 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 blah.
Where we get your podcast.
Yeah. You can do all that. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This week, what we want to talk about are patterns, systems, things that have been the way they've been for so long, but they aren't working.
Right. What do you do when they're not working?
And we continually talk about we're adults.
Right.
It's time to grow up.
Yeah.
Time to change.
Right.
So we thought we would just sort of dive into that topic a little bit farther, a little bit deeper, because we are living in a time where we need change and things have been stagnant, and not even just stagnant, but like failing for a lot of people. And so that gets down to, a lot of issues. It's not just a pattern. It's like, why are the patterns the way they are? Why are things not changing?
Right.
Or is it, racial issues? Is it socioeconomic issues? Is it like
yes, and yes.
Yes, and yes.
But it's like, what do we do about that? Because turns out we're the adults. That's what a big theme for us. Like, we're the adults. What do you do when you need to adult about this?
That's right.
Yeah.
The little intro we want to talk about. We both love Amy Poehler's podcast. Good Hang with Amy Poehler. It's just fantastic. She's by far my favorite podcast host.
Yeah, you said that. You really like the way she listens to people. Yes. Yeah.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
She knows how to do it.
Yeah.
It's
she's
like,
a profesh.
Girl, SNL was not your calling. and you were amazing on she was amazing on SNL, but this is like, wow.
Yeah.
But she had Rosie O'Donnell on there.
Rosie.
What'd you think?
Oh, well, I just have I've had a soft spot in my heart for Rosie for a long time. Like, I just remember like a lot of us growing up, listening and watching her on her show and in League of Their Own. She was just like, she felt like a real person in the 90s when we really needed a lot of real people, and she felt like a mom. And I just loved, I have followed her. If you guys don't follow her on Instagram, she's a great follow. She does a lot of her own art. She just like found herself, and she's gone through a lot. And she moved to Ireland, and anyway, and
that was not just like I think I'll move to Ireland.
I'll do.
Yeah. She's been bullied by the bully in chief, Trump, for years and decades.
When he was reelected, she had to move.
Yeah.
She felt she had to move, and I think she's right.
Oh yeah.
So just kind of hearing about that, and kind of she's kind of had a renaissance of sorts, coming back, doing shows and being in the public light again. And it was a great interview, so I recommend it.
It was so real. And, in light of what we're discussing today, it was really neat to hear her talk about her own change as a human being, as a lesbian, systems that she has fought for her entire life. She's seeing even now those need to change too.
Yeah, she's just an adult.
She's an adult.
She's an example of an adult, like things are messy. Growing up is hard. Parenting is hard.
Parenting is hard, yep.
You know, marriage is hard.
Yeah.
She's had a marriage that didn't work out, but yet she still talks respectfully about that person,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And she was talking, I know a part that really hit both of us is she was talking about her youngest child who is non-binary. And here she is, like you said, she's been a lesbian, obviously, for a long time. That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
But she's been a lesbian in the public for a long time and navigated all of that. And yet still parenting and like even just pronouns have been like new and different for her. And she just talks about it so candidly. And I just love that.
And she sees that she even needs to change.
Right.
Even, you know, in the later stages of her life, after fighting for years and years for human rights and equal rights.
Sure.
And she's
like,
going,
this is new and different and hard for me to
I'm not used to calling my daughter they.
Right.
Or my, you know, my child.
Right.
So,
this
you know, like it's
for me. Right.
And so she even had it tattooed on her wrist.
Right. And she still messed up even in the interview. And she was like, I just did it again. You know, like it was just, I felt like it was such a grace-filled way to approach life.
Absolutely.
To approach parenting. And it was just, I loved it.
I know. Well, we love you, Amy Poehler, and we love you, Rosie O'Donnell.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I want to listen to it again. Honestly, it was just so good.
Yeah.
It's
good.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay,
Let's talk about systems. Let's talk about the fact that we are where we are today as a country, as communities, as public school systems, as individuals, as corporations, whatever it might be. Like here we are, and the system is clearly not working. And when I say clearly not working, I mean it's not working because to me, if a system does not work for everybody, then it's not working.
Right. And I think that many of our systems have not been working for a lot of people for a long time. And now they're starting to hit like more middle class white people are experiencing the breakdown of our political system, public school systems, you know, healthcare, all of those things. And, you know, we're having to adult and it's not easy. Turns out being an adult is not easy. Growing up is not easy. I think that's why we appreciate people like Rosie O'Donnell who talk about the messiness of it, you know. But I think, you know, in our country, we don't have a long history of a lot of political engagement, long sustained political engagement, like from the middle class. And so we're all figuring out how to engage in politics again. And it's really hard and messy. And part of it, like we were talking about, is we're all tired. Like we're tired and we're really stressed. And a lot of the reasons for that have to do with politics. But it's hard when you're already tired and stressed to then figure out a new path to engage in politics. And I think that's a big part of it. But I think when we think about like, why are we actually tired and stressed, you know? And a lot of it is we live in an unsustainable systems.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, there are people that have really done well for themselves. You know, they've won capitalism, you know, or they're doing really well in capitalism. And it's like, congratulations. But how many of us would be completely fine financially were a catastrophic illness to hit?
Oh my gosh. The majority of people. There is a very small amount of people. We know people who are very affluent. And are struggling because of major health issues.
Exactly.
And it hits you like a Mack truck out of
It
nowhere.
does. And so many people that have great insurance, but yet still just dealing with that. And, you know, all of those things. So we all, whether we know it or not, have that in the back of our mind. You know, we worry about that. You know, we now are all, you know, should we get our kids to a point where they graduate high school and are ready for college, which is just such an accomplishment. Make sure that you remember to save hundreds of thousands of dollars for their college education. We're not even talking about further schooling, graduate school.
Per kid.
Per child.
And we're not even, and then also retirement.
Oh, right. Go ahead. Don't forget about that. And also, you know, for so many of these like conservative Christian money gurus, don't forget to also save money for the rental income that you need to, all the rental properties that you're supposed to save on the side and somehow like figure out, not to mention like being a landlord is a whole job, but you're supposed to do that in your spare time.
Yes, absolutely.
And learn how to like do all of that ethically because if you're renting to people who may be in a lesser financial situation than you, like you need to be really ethical about that. They don't talk about that part.
No. Well, and that's it. They have these systems, like you've all heard of Dave Ramsey and don't even want to.
I know. We recently saw a clip
the
that
stink
was
on that man.
It was so disturbing.
So disturbing and not a fan.
No.
And so there might be some ideas that some of these financial gurus like that they have that might be decent, right?
Sure,
so a lot of people try and live off of like, okay, I'm going to do like 80-10-10 or I'm going to live off of 90% and the 10%.
I've seen this only one spouse's salary. Sounds great.
Right, sounds great.
On paper.
Yeah, like that's amazing.
Right.
But like, what is your spouse's salary?
Right.
And that doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
when minimum wage has not changed since 2006 and it was what did we say, a 50-cent change? It was like $6.55 to $7.25.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
We're really, woo.
Just live off that, Clint.
Yeah. Just take that
That's going to be plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Save that 25 cents.
Yeah. $7.25. So 80% of that, you're looking at $5.80 or something,
Right.
So $5, and then the rest, 10% give to your church, 10% save.
You'll
be fine.
Yeah.
You do that.
In 3
and it's
years, you'll be at $10.
Do you understand how little money $7.25 an hour is?
$10, $10.25. I mean,
that was a little in 2006.
Right.
That is nothing. I mean, can $7.25 even buy you a meal at like a Chick-fil-A or McDonald's?
No, not a Chick-fil-A. That's for sure. McDonald's. I mean, I don't know. Barely. And God help you if you have children or anyone that depends on you.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely not.
No. Yeah.
And, and it's going to take you forever to even get to a place that's even barely, sort of maybe livable. I mean, we've seen estimates that it's more like $25 or more an hour would be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well, because so a general rule is it's not always this way, but like for a full-time job, you can just double the hourly rate and like double. So like if you make $25 an hour times 2, that's 50, then add 3 zeros, right? So that's like $50,000 a year. It's generally right about that.
But is that working like 52?
That's working 40 full-time job, 40 hours a week.
But is that any time off or sick?
You have like some time off, whatever, but that's essentially, it's right around there, more or less, just a little bit. So take that $7.25 and double that, Kelly. That's like not even $15,000 a year.
I know.
What is happening? That doesn't even make sense.
Right. And it's
two people. If you have 2 earners in your house and they both have to have minimum wage jobs.
Right.
You're not even pulling in $30,000 a year.
Point being,
come on,
there's so many systems just falling apart,
Yes.
Then you have the public school system, which we talked about last week, that is, they're not going to have your kids for working hours, so how do you like work all of that out? And much less, if your kid needs help with something extra or, just all of the things, it's just, we're in a place where so many systems are failing. And like we said, they have been failing for a lot of people for a long time, but it's starting to really hit the middle class. And I said something the other day on here that was like, we weren't built for this fight, and I'm not even downing like the people that raised us or the systems, I think they were in large part doing the best that they could, but we were ignoring whole sectors of the economy of our society that were like, hey, this isn't working for us. We were like, oh, well, I can't hear you. It's working for us. We're advancing. We're getting, raises and all these things. These public schools, of course, in the 90s, that we were like under Ann Richards. We said this in Texas, we were 7th in the nation. So it was like, oh, sorry, the public schools aren't working for you, working for me. You know, that kind of attitude has gotten us to where we are now.
Yes.
And now we're at a place where we were talking about, it's like we're driving the car and we're all stressed. All the systems are starting to break down. The healthcare, don't get sick. Nobody gets sick,
Nobody
you know?
gets- yes.
Like not even the cold or
Mom,
whatever.
my throat's sore. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You know, like the lights are coming on in the car.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the worst. Everyone knows that feeling when the light goes on in your car that something's wrong. I mean, it's just, it's so stressful.
Even just the gaslight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like not even just like,
Yeah, sure.
you know, like there's a problem, like your oil's low or in the engine something. It's like just the gaslight. You're like, dang it.
Yes, now I've got to do that. But we're at a point where so many lights are on in the car. They're flashing.
Yes.
And I fear that many of us are still like, oh, I'm just going to keep driving. And I get it. I get it. Mm-hmm. But if we keep driving that car, we know what happens at the end. So we have to stop and do the adult thing of taking it in, figuring out what's going on. We have to make different choices if we want different outcomes.
And as an adult, and, you know, as I'm going to say loving adult, because it's not just Christians who are loving. And in fact, a lot of other folks are out loving Christians right now. So like as a loving, kind, generous, whatever you want to say, adult, ethical adult, morally responsible adult.
Okay, I like that. Morally responsible adult. Yeah.
I think you should want everybody to do well. So,
I mean, why are we going to church every Sunday if we're ignoring large swaths of the population, people that live just a few blocks over, or, you know, if you're in a bedroom community, which was probably created by white flight. If you're in the South, look up your history. You know, maybe they're a few miles from you, but why are we not making choices?
And maybe your why of going to church every Sunday is so that you become a better person. But if you're not becoming a better person going to church every Sunday, maybe you need to start questioning the church you're going to and what they're talking about.
I know. Our version of Christianity is off. If it's not literally, that's literally what Jesus spent his life doing, is reminding, hey, don't just remember about you, which I take to mean in the year of our Lord 2026, like things are hard for you, you're tired, you're right, you are tired.
Yes.
But you still can't just think about yourself.
No, because, and we've said this on here before, but a rising tide lifts all boats. And so how can you, first of all, I believe in advocating for yourself. And I believe in doing the absolute best you can for yourself and for your family. Of course, like who doesn't want that?
Right.
But like, if that comes at the expense of other families, whether they look like you or not, I want everybody to be living above the poverty line. For crying out loud, like we should be pulling for everybody to be doing better. And so when we have these systems in place that are working for us and not for everybody, that is about the most immoral thing that I can really comprehend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know we were just looking before this at some statistics, which I found on Bernie Sanders' Instagram page, because I follow him, and I know that's like for some people like whoa. Okay, whoa. And I get that. I used to be there actually, but just remember he's probably not going to run for anything anymore. And so, you know, maybe you might want to give him a follow, even if he feels crazy to you, just to find out some stuff, or just look at his page every once in a while, because he has lots of research statistics that let people know. Could you guys guess? I know you know, but I'm just going to give some space to like guess what percentage of children in the U.S. are in poverty. It's 21%, 21.1 actually. 1 in 5 United States children lives in poverty. And as a person...
That's 4 percentage points away from a quarter. 25, you know what I mean? Like less than 4%. I mean, that's 1 in 4. We're close to 1 in 4.
It's unconscionable.
That's insane.
We are making choices for this. So when we say that we all need to adult in politics and learn about what's going on and use our voices and be responsible for our vote, and then be responsible for watching what the people we vote for do, and how it affects us and other people, which is what you're talking about. This is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Like, we live in a democracy. We are choosing this. We are legislating poverty.
Yes.
Yes, 20%, 21.1% of our children live in poverty. Okay, and some of us are just like, okay,
all right.
I can't,
Well,
you know.
I'm still going to 30A.
Right.
I'm still going on vacation, so whatever.
And like, if you know, vacation is important. Like,
100%.
go for it. But like, what are we doing to make our choices in our politics, and how are we informing ourselves so that we know and we can take responsibility for our votes?
You can help clean this up wherever I get it wrong, being the masters in clinical psychology that you are. But there's this triangulation thing, and we've talked about it. We've heard a lot about it on social media, and you've obviously studied it. But where you have like a narcissistic parent, and they triangulate things. So they keep their children at certain lengths from each other, and they feed information and they keep them. Yeah,
I would say it like when you have like I know narcissist is such a buzzword right now, and it means a lot of different things to different people, but we're saying like a parental system or a government that's not working, that is immature, not working for the good of the family or the good of the people, right?
Yes.
So in this case, we're talking about a family, and that's why we're talking about systems, because systems are in families and governments, or that's why you're relating it. But oftentimes, and I'm not even saying it's conscious, they don't really want the children to be close.
That's right.
Because if they do,
then those 2 or 3 or whatever children could get together and say, hey, do you notice the way mom is or do you notice the way dad is, and I think we should confront them together as a unit. So instead, like, you keep them separated.
Right. And you talk badly about, you know how your sister is.
You know how your brother is.
Right.
So now I don't want to join forces, a sibling or you, whoever doesn't.
In order for me to stay close to the parent or the government, to get mine, then I have to talk badly about, I can't join forces, or I've got to talk badly too about the other sibling.
Because if I try and buck the system, then the system breaks down for me. And now all of a sudden my needs are not met, because that parent will threaten security, will threaten love and the foundation
to
that
resources and needs.
that kid lives on top of. And so they don't want to mess that, because who does? Right? Like, we want to feel secure. We want to feel safe.
And I think that's a lot of why a lot of us haven't engaged in politics or spoken up about our beliefs, because we're scared of what we will lose.
Exactly.
And maybe people here, that could hit us in different places on our journey. It may hit you, be like, no, I just have been busy. But this is life. This is your money. You know what I mean? So there are probably deeper reasons for why. And part of it are these forces at play that we're not always aware of. And I think you're drawing I mean, like, you were drawing it to the government.
Exactly. And I think you were bringing up a good point when you said sometimes maybe it's not even like a conscious thought. So we're not even necessarily saying there's like this cabal of like,
sometimes
government. Sometimes there are.
There isn't.
But like, like people in a room going, okay, let's keep these people. I'm not saying that that's necessarily happening. But we are in this system now where it's like, well, my community over here is doing okay.
My middle class, often white, community has been okay. And so it's been very difficult for us to listen to the Black community, Black Lives Matter, things like that, which hit a lot of us. We are some of the people, that really impacted us and helped us to listen to what was going on for them. Notice what they had to do. They had to be in the streets yelling. And I hate that, but that got like our attention. And, we had done a lot of work, but we just still weren't there and completely understanding what was going on with police violence and, schools and healthcare
Right.
and, all of these things for their community. But for others of us, we just still see people, they're just yelling in the street. If they were quieter.
Well, keep in mind, they were quieter. I mean,
how did that work out?
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick was pretty quiet as he knelt on the sidelines.
Didn't work. Right. And that's a perfect example of just like we were immediately like, no.
Yeah.
What we're wanting is for you not to get your needs met and for you to be quiet about it. And we're colluding with the people in power for that instead of joining together and going, hey, it's not okay for your look at the healthcare. The Black maternal death rate in Texas is abysmal, you guys. That's a whole other thing that we could get into. Or, the Black community saying there's police violence against us, and, things like that it just was easy to go, oh, Colin, just be quiet, instead of going, whoa, what's going on over there?
That's right.
What's my responsibility in this? It's easier to shut the door on that so that I can keep mine.
Because if I join forces with them, then the system breaks down for me.
Right.
Now all of a sudden I'm kicked out of the system.
Right. That's right.
You're kicked out of the club. Now you don't get the benefits.
And that's probably something we should talk about at some point, because I know a lot of people over the years have asked us questions about that. When you do, that's part of why we don't talk about politics and why we're no religion, no politics.
Not us, but what? Yeah.
Right. We have had times in our life where we didn't as much.
Yeah.
Or as a white middle class kind of group, we're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because we know we're risking friendships. We know we're risking relationships in our family. These are resources and support that we need, in order to exist. And we risk those often. But if we will band together and say together, no, we have to talk about this.
That's right.
I know this is upsetting for you. I get that. But we have to talk about this. Did you know? I just learned, did you know that 21.1% of children in the U.S. live in poverty? That's not okay with me. I'm sure it's not okay with you.
That's right.
We need to change something. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. If we have a family of 5. If there was something really bad that one of us could experience out of the 5 of our family members, would we not fight to make sure that
that would be all of our responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of one of our children being in poverty and this is what some of these leaders are doing. You say to our oldest child, listen, here's your money. I want you to go buy some rental property.
Yeah.
You need to get your own financial security together. Don't worry about your sister.
Right.
That's what's going on right now. And in our places of religious worship where we're supposed to be learning or wanting to learn to be good people, we're often in many of these spaces getting messages of, shh, don't worry about those people. Yeah. They're wrong or bad. Get yours.
Well, and we have all these systems that we were talking about this too, that they work when times are good.
We can't make decisions on the sunny day.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of our systems are made for as long as every day sunny.
Yes.
For
optimal circumstances.
Right. Optimal circumstances. And then we see the results of that.
And there's no support after that.
Right. So I worry, in Texas, for example, we've talked about that we have now, our legislature passed the voucher scheme. And so, in our urban Title I school, we see immediately what has gone on and happened.
Right.
I worry that what's happening is a lot of people in very white, heavy, affluent suburbs, I'm thinking about outside of Austin, or Dallas or Houston, these places, they don't see it as much because maybe they don't have as many private schools around and their school is doing fine so they didn't lose so much of the funding, or they lost some, but it's okay. They don't realize what's going on in the whole of the state, and that in several years these private schools will come in and build there, and then they'll feel the effects. So to me, that's kind of the same thing. It's like, hey, everything's fine here, we're doing great, but it's like we're actually missing, in my opinion, the point of the gospel, or the point of a lot of these of world religions, is like, hey, always remember the other people around you. Like, the Sermon on the Mount talks about, like, blessed are those who are poor in spirit, who are in difficult places. And to me, that's like, remember, okay, it's good for you. Okay, great, good, that's great. What about the district behind you, and all of these other districts? And what's happening so often is I think we're all just so busy trying to get ours. Because even in those affluent areas, people still, like we said, you never feel like you have enough. Like you've got to have hundreds of thousands of dollars for your kids' college. What about their graduate degrees? What about if you, heaven forbid, catastrophic illness, your parents are aging, all of these things. So they don't feel like they have extra time and energy to also think about other people.
And if any one of those things falls apart, you're ruined.
That's right.
And that's
you're going to be those people that you weren't thinking about before. You're going to find yourself in those positions. And
then you're going to wish that system worked for you.
We see so many people in this situation where it was like, oh, I can't vote for so-and-so because of the abortion, or whatever. And like, I'm not making light of abortion. That's, a serious issue for some people. But if you don't get through that, and think about all the other issues and how they affect all the people, not just you, which is a definition of adulting, right? Like growing into looking at everything and thinking of your whole community, you very well may find yourself in a position of the people that you were ignoring.
And what you're going to find is that in those situations, if the system breaks down, who comes to the rescue and who gets rescued?
Okay, so how do we, as adults, I mean, it's like, I want to right now just melt down and be like, I can't do it. It's too much. And that's what I'm saying. Often we were kind of protected as like a middle class. So we're always going to be here. We're always going to be fine. Too bad for the lower class. They should pull themselves up by their bootstraps, So we don't always have those muscles of like, this is so overwhelming. And yet I still have to be an adult.
Yes.
I still have to be an adult. I'm responsible, I'm responsible to think about this. I'm responsible to figure out, and talk with my community. That's the thing. You are responsible, but it's not just you. We need to be having these conversations. As part of when we started this podcast. It's like, we're always talking about this. We want to share and all talk about it together and just say like, hey, we've got to have these conversations and figure out politicians that are actually working, because there are good people out there. James Tallarica.
I said Tallarica. That's my slang. Tallarico, Hinojosa. I mean, come on. Yeah. You know what we didn't bring up was student loans. There's another where the system, it's like, hey, and using your word responsible.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the responsible thing to do. Get a student loan, go to college, get a degree. Then all of a sudden, when the economy goes to shit and we can't afford anything and there's no jobs and you're strapped with a student loan payment and somebody in the higher up says, hey, we should help these student loan borrowers who now have all this debt and we should help, we should pay back their student loans for them because they're screwed and they can't, what? Everybody's like, well, that's not responsible.
Right.
No.
But we're going to give the money to the bankers and the lenders who are creating, in large part, a lot of this problem.
Yes.
Yeah, or the corporations that are just like...
So it's like responsible in the beginning.
Right.
But then when the system falls down, well, now you're not being responsible.
That's right.
But like we can bail out the banks, though, even though they'll screw you, twice on Sundays.
Yeah, and we all know that. Nobody is like, oh, bankers are great. I mean, we know some of you bankers, and I'm not talking about you individually necessarily. But, we all know that. But yet we are so exhausted and tired and playing our own game instead of realizing this is a team game.
All right. Our time is coming to a close here. So we talked about kind of ending it with this, and that is that in Texas, Okay, just specifically in Texas, that's where we live, and some of y'all have this situation in other places. And Gina Hinojosa's campaign released this the other day.
Well, we wanted to say first, I remember that, oftentimes the Republican Party tries things in Texas. They have a couple, but definitely like tries things in Texas because it's so, really rigged for the conservatives. And then if it, gets the information from that and tries it in lots of other Republican states or at the federal government. So whether you live here in Texas or not, it's important to know these things. It's
really important. That's right. Thank you for pointing that out. So Republicans in Texas have been in power since 1995. That's a year before I graduated high school.
That's wild.
Okay. So that's
over
30 plus years. It's over. Yeah. We were talking about how as a kid, you think like 10 years. Someone says, what are you going to do in 10 years? You're 10 years? Oh, I'm doing 10 minutes. Like a decade's like forever. 3 decades have gone by and Republicans have been in leadership. And all of their ads that they are now pushing out there to get old Abbott reelected one more time is we've got to fix all of the problems in Texas. We've got to fix everything that is broken in Texas. You've been in charge for 30 years. You're what's broken. You've created the problems. Now you're going to fix them? You've had your chance.
It makes zero sense. But if we're tired, if we're broken down, if we're not listening to our ethics and our moral, if we're not rising to the occasion of being moral, ethical adults, then we're just like, yeah, it sounds good. They throw in a little abortion and that,
just sprinkle that on top.
We're pro-life, even though, we don't
really care about the lives that are here.
All of the parts of that, right? Then it will catch a lot of people. And that's how we've all gotten caught so many times.
So hopefully we live out of that part of ourselves that knows that a system is broken if it doesn't work for everybody.
That's right.
And if we will stand together and fight together against.
Yeah, there's so much more that we agree on.
Yes.
It's okay that we have some things we disagree on. We can work on those as we move forward.
I don't want to take away your boat. Your lake life. I don't want to take away your ability to have as many flat screen TVs in your house as you want to. I don't want to take away your ability to have a really healthy 401k. No one wants that.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. That's awesome. But I also want everybody else to have a shot at those things as well. We should all want that. And it is possible.
That's right. And I will die on this hill that most Americans really care about children. I will die on this hill that most Americans, if they had a button to push, do you want to pay a little bit more but we can get children out of poverty? I believe that they would push that button and pay a little bit more money. I really do. I'm going to die on that hill because I'm just saying, especially as a therapist, seeing the effects of poverty, that is trauma. That is choosing trauma for people, for children.
And I would just add that, maybe when we say pay a little bit more, I think we actually have a lot of money to where if we just allocate it properly.
Have the billionaires allocate their money to pay for children to get out of poverty. Sorry, you can't go to space anymore.
I'm sorry,
privately.
You can't
We're going to have to do that with NASA together.
You can't wreck your rockets into the moon.
I can't.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, okay, that's it. Woo! It feels like we do by the end. We're just like frothy.
This is just tea, I promise.
Thank you all so much for tuning in once again to On Couch with Kelly and Clint Harp. We love your support.
We really do.
We really do.
Guys.
And we will see you next week on the couch. Have a great week. Hang in there. Don't give up. We're voting, and early voting starts in October.
Register to vote. Make sure you're registered. It
starts in October, right? Early voting. It's like 2 weeks before the election.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple days off, and then when you have the election or something like that. So look, look into your early voting situations, polling locations. Are you registered to vote? Start looking for, like, not just, like here in Texas, I'm voting for Talarico, I'm voting for Hinojosa, I'm voting, on down the line. What are you voting for locally? Like, start to figure all that stuff out. And remember that in most polling locations, you can take a document, a paper into your voting booth with the answers to the questions already, so you don't get confused in the moment. So, all right, just a little stuff there.
Yes.
All right.
We can do it. We can adult.
We can. See y'all next week.
Okay, bye.